Hi everybody, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. We're sitting on the floor today because I wanted to show you what's hanging. These are going to be some completed projects that I've made, and I want to trade them out so that I can display something new now from my totes. So I'll trade them out, but before I do that I thought I'd show them to you. So the first one here that you either love or hate, I have a love relationship with the corner to corner. That's this first one here. And to do this, I used these Caron Big Cakes in this gorgeous colorway. This is called Boysenberry, and these are, as they're called, big cakes because they contain 10.5 ounces and 603 yards, so you can get quite a bit out of these. It's a standard 4 size worsted weight, and they suggest a 5mm H hook to use. So in making one of these, I just start and go until my whim tells me to stop growing on one side. It becomes a rectangle or a square if you don't make any changes to it. So this is just a beautiful play of colors, and there isn't one of these colors that I don't like by itself, so to have them in one blanket together, it's really one of my faves. I say that a lot. So then we also have, before I go on to my next blanket, I did want to talk about the fact that these are big cakes, Caron's Big Cakes. Not all Caron yarn is the same. And recently I talked about my Ogo story, and this is the same type of yarn, this is the same feel of yarn that is in a big cake, but it's not the same as in a regular Caron cake. So here's the Caron cake, and you can see that this is a strand of 4 ply. 4 plies are put together to create a strand. Let's cover up the face, see if it gets that any better. But with the Caron Big Cakes, it's like a solid roll. There's no ply to it. It gives you a very defined stitch, and I just love it. And so the Ogo is the same because it's a big donut like a big cake, like the big cakes. But if you're going to get a regular sized Caron cake, the yarn is a little bit different. It's still a 4, but you're going to see the twist of yarn, the twist of the 4 plies in there. See that? So, and the big cake is different from the regular cake because these are 7.1 ounces and these are 10.5 ounces. So you get quite a bit more in the big cakes, and I like the yarn better. So these you can regularly get on Michael's website for $7.99 maybe when they've got a special going, but generally I think they're $11.99 now, so quite expensive if you don't get it on sale. And that's why these are such a bargain at $4.99. If you can still find these on clearance at Michael's at $4.99, because these are 9.9 ounces and you get 502 yards. So again, quite a bit of yarn, and it's a really good quality yarn. All right. This is one that is a favorite of mine for a very long time, and you may have seen it. It's kind of an older pattern. It is called Drop in the Pond, where you start in the center and then you add with the different colors like this. You know, it's an obvious design. And the original video that I saw is Beth in Texas 1, and she does a couple of blue colors and a white, I believe, to make a drop in the pond. And so this looking like fire, I call this a drop in the lava. It's one of my favorites. I like to display it because the colors are so powerful. And when I was learning to do this one, I thought it was quite a challenge for me to tie off and start again and tie off and start again and keep my count. And so I really like the way that it turned out. Like I say, it's a good one. If you haven't seen that video, or if you haven't seen one of these blankets, it's really a nice one to make. So go for it. All right, we'll move that to the side here. And that was just made with Red Heart Super Saver, I'm sure, because it was so early on. I really didn't know other yarns quite yet. So this is a little sweetie, little shawl that I made. I don't remember the pattern, where I found the pattern at. I like to do the little picots on the edges. I don't know if that was a learned thing or if this was a, you know, some sort of special pattern. It is a beautiful, just a double crochet, chain 1, maybe chain 2, skip a couple steps, so you've got some spacing in there. And this was made with a Lion Brand cupcake. Again, this might have been day late, dollar short to the party, but this was just one cake that I had. So this is how the colorway tells you that it's going to play out, which is really nice with these cakes. You can see what it's going to look like. These are always knitted, so it's a little bit different in crochet. But so this one was called Gelato, and it's a 5.3 ounce cake with 590 yards. So again, quite a bit of yardage there. But just one cake that I had from probably an eBay purchase or something. It's cute. It's like a shawl for like maybe a little 8-year-old or a 10-year-old or something. So when my granddaughter grows into it, she'll be wearing that hopefully in the spring, or maybe to an Easter thing or something, you know. So I like that. I've had it sitting out. It's really light. It's a 3, which is not a weight of yarn that I used quite often when I made this. This was like a step out of my box. So I really, really like this, and it's so pretty. All right, my next one is my flowers here. Whoops, let me come this way. This is one of my faves. I say that. I don't want all of these, but it's just a standard hexagon. It's a flower in the center. Again, I made this so long ago, I'm not sure of what the pattern was or whose video I might have followed, but I connected it with the same colors. So the only color difference that you see is the yellow of the flowers. And this was made with, this is probably one of my all-time favorites, and they don't make it anymore, so I'm quite unhappy about that. But Big Twist Premium. Here's what I had left of this color yellow. I just have some bits and pieces of them. But this is still a standard weight 4, but it's that same type of nice, solid strand of yarn. You don't see the plies, so you really see the definition of the stitches. And so with the different yellows and the blues, I just thought this was beautiful. And I don't know where I found these, but again, they are discontinued. So if you see here, I've got a whole bunch more that are this multicolor. Those are a Premium Twist Chunky. So it's the same solid strand of yarn, but just a little bit bigger. So I'm saving those until my brain tells me what to do with them, because I've got about 6 skeins of that, and I've already made a purse with it that'll be in another video because I have to line it still, but we'll get back to that on another video. But again, okay, so love it, love it, love it. And then this one here, I've shown you this in another video. This one is 2 double crochet rows at the same time. And I think that Fiber Spider has the best video if you'd like to go out and create one of these. He calls it 2 rows at the same time, but you're making 2 rows of double crochet. So you're yarning over, I think off the top of my head, 4 or 5 times to get, and then you stop in the center here and grab a stitch. So you make a double crochet and then you make a double crochet. So it grows really, really fast. And this is super heavy, so we're probably going to save this one for winter because it is super duper heavy. And this was made with Big Twist created this new, relatively new yarn called Arcade. And I have just one row or one cake left of this colorway. I've got some other ones up there. And we'll go through my yarn wall at some point. I'll show you all that I've got because I know I've had some questions about it, or at least some comments. You guys like the wall, so thank you very much on that. But yeah, so this Big Twist, it's super duper soft. It is 100% acrylic, but it's just, again, it's like a solid strand. It's not multiples together. So when you're crocheting, you get very definite stitches. The definition in a stitch can really make a difference in a blanket. And so I enjoy using yarn that you don't see the plies like that. Okay, and the last one I wanted to show is one that, this is one of my most favorite patterns. I think I've probably made 6 or 7 blankets of this by now. And I'm on a full length one right now, but this one is just a lap blanket. And it reminds me of the San Jose Sharks colors. I am from California, so go Sharks. I know that's a dangerous thing to say in blues country, but Anyway, so this is a great pattern. Hooked by Robin is the one who does this, and I found her because I was looking for something to make with cakes, with these big cakes, and her video specifically uses these big cakes, and that's kind of a no-brainer for me. That helps me really be confident in what I'm going to be making, because I know that the cake size is going to work out what I actually have, what color amounts I actually have. So Hooked by Robin, I don't remember what she calls it. It's just search by Karen Big Cakes and you'll find the pattern. But again, I've made this a bunch of times. So anyway, so you get, I'm upside down here. You make a cluster and then do a chain and one more stitch, and then you do 5 double crochets in a row, and then you do a cluster with a chain, and then when you work your way back, you work into that chain space. So it's sort of, that's why it sort of gives you this off kilter doink, and then you're across, then you doink up across at the top again. And so if you can see here, this is the top of the blanket would stop in like a scalloped look, but she has even given you the stitching to even this off. This row here, this gray row here, is singles and halves along the cluster part, and then you still do doubles across the doubles, but that straightens out your row so that then you can make a border of any style. And I'm a simpleton. I like a single crochet stitch border with the colors that I used in the blanket. So that's why you get this one. And most of my lap blankets, when I start them, I just crochet out and kind of hold the chain across myself and see if I'd be comfortable with where that would fit. And that's where I make it. And that's why I wing it a lot, and so I'm not always confident with how much yardage I have in my yarn. So to not have to stop halfway through and have an unfinished project and have to search for that same dye lot, because you know that's not going to ever happen. And that's why finding a new pattern when I have to start a new pattern is so crazy. So look here, this was full, and I took out, for a full-size blanket, I took out enough that I would need of this yarn to make a full-size blanket, and I barely dented it. So that'll be a project. I'm doing a willow square out of that one because it's so pretty. Anyway, so this was what's hanging, and I'll be doing these occasionally as I trade out what I've got on display here, because it's just not fair to leave these pretty blankets to sit in a tote when you don't want to forget the beautiful things that you've made. So bring them out, display them. Ta-da! So I guess that's all I have for now. Thanks for coming around again. I really appreciate your support. I'm getting new subscribers and some comments from y'all. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Be blessed. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.